So there's a pretty viral post on X from Andrej Karpathy where he talks about, I've never felt this much behind as a programmer. If you don't know who Andrej is, basically he's the one who helped contribute to OpenAI and build out all these LLMs that we're using today. He's a founding member who played a key role in developing the GPT models, right? And so he has a lot of experience with AI and how to basically do all the machine learning and stuff. But I think it would be interesting to kind of talk about his post, and I can give you my thoughts on where I think this industry is going. Now, if you remember, this is the first guy who coined the term vibe coding, right? And so this is where the vibe coding term comes from. It's from this guy who's been working with, OpenAI and all this stuff. So let's just go ahead and read through this post. I think it's kind of interesting. I've never felt this much behind as a programmer. The profession is being dramatically refactored as the bits contributed by the programmers are increasingly sparse in between. I have a sense that I could be 10 times more powerful if I just properly string together what has become available over the last year, and a failure to claim the boost feels decidedly like a skill issue. There's new programmable layers of abstractions to master in addition to the usual layers below involving agents, sub-agents, their prompts, context, memory, modes, permissions, tools, plugins, skills, hooks, MCP, LSP, /commands, workflows, IDE integrations, and a need to build an all-encompassing mental model for strengths and pitfalls of fundamentally stochastic, fallible, unintelligible, and changing entities suddenly intermingled with what used to be a good old-fashioned engineering. Ooh, that was a long sentence. Clearly, some powerful alien tool was handed around, except it comes with no manual, and everyone has to figure out how to hold it and operate it, while the resulting magnitude 9 earthquake is rocking the profession. Roll up your sleeves to not fall behind. Okay, so he's basically talking about how all these models are coming out, and understanding how to properly use them does take some time to ramp up, right? There's a lot of tools that are involved with using like Claude Code and hooking into MCP servers, how to integrate with various IDEs that keep coming out every month. And I think it's a really good topic to discuss. Now, this is a really good post, and I do want to hook it into one more post that I found from him. Very good questions. In my opinion, experienced devs have a real advantage, but only if they rapidly progress through the grief cycle and adapt. Now and onwards, categorically rejecting or ignoring the new layer would be a mistake. So he's basically saying, hey, every developer is going to go through this grief cycle. And I honestly had this like a couple of months ago on my channel. I made a video how I'm tired of making content. I feel like AI is ruining the joy for programming. And I feel like that was my grief cycle, right? I realized that these AIs can churn out more code than I can in like 1 minute from one prompt than I could in like 30 minutes, right? Building out React components, building out whole API endpoints, building out all these various things, and AI can do it much faster, and often it can do it much better than you, right? If you hook in the right Claude skills, you can have the output be very high quality, like senior engineer level. If you do a security review and a code review after you generate the initial code, you can even start iterating and make it better and better. And so I do think that there is something that a lot of developers are going through right now. A lot of it's denial. People are denying that these models are even good. And when you start using Opus 4.5, which is, I think, the catalyst of a lot of this stuff, like a lot of people are waking up and starting to realize that Opus 4.5 is actually really good. You can prompt it one thing, you let it cook, you come back, and it basically implemented all the features. And I've been using Opus 4.5 since it came out, and honestly, like, it's pretty amazing. I built out a full video editor right here, which uses AI to analyze where I have dead air in my videos, and I can just go through here and I can cut them out. I can edit all this stuff. I can export it. It's using FFmpeg to export, and this was like 2 hours of work. I literally used Automaker. I let it run all night to create the initial project, and I came back through and I started sprucing it up manually with Cursor and Claude Code. And so the future is literally AI. You do need to know how to use these tools, and I think getting a handle on how to utilize Claude skills and how to utilize these sub-agents, how to utilize MCP servers is going to give you that advantage, that edge over other developers who still don't even use AI. Now, I find it very interesting because I have literally been using AI since like Cursor Composer came out last year in 2024, and I was blown away even with the terrible models back then. I was watching it go through my code base and modify all these files, and sometimes it would actually get stuff working. Fast forward to today, we have Claude Code Opus 4.5. You give it one prompt, it can sit there and modify 30, 40 files. You load up your UI and it all just works, and the feature has been implemented. And so we've reached this tipping point, this threshold where these tools are so good you cannot ignore them. And the developers who are still pushing back against AI tools and are just refusing to accept them, and they're living in the old ways, I kind of feel like they're almost like dinosaurs, and you have to kind of start waking up and at least playing around with these tools. Don't be sleeping on these tools. Every day when a new model comes out, try it out, test it out, try prompting it on your existing project, try building out a brand new project. Really analyze these tools, because I have met people who still don't use AI, and they will spend hours trying to fix simple bugs that Opus or Gemini or GPT 5.2, which is also a really good model, can just knock out in one prompt. Now, some of the things he mentioned here do not take that much time to learn, but others, they do take some time to ramp up. Like, how do you properly configure and use sub-agents? How do you properly prompt? How do you understand the context window, like a memory layer hooked into Claude Code? Like, how do you actually do that type of stuff? Claude Skills, that's the other thing that just came out recently, which people are starting to use. And I will say that all of these tools I am covering in my Agentic Jumpstart course. For example, I have a whole video in my course talking about Claude Skills. I walk you through what Claude Skills are, how to get them set up, and how to set up a UI UX pro skill to make your user interfaces and your user experiences with what Claude is generating that much better. So definitely go check out Agentic Jumpstart if you're interested. I have a course with over 74 videos, 11.5 hours of content. I teach you how to use Claude Code, how to use Cursor, the basics of all this type of stuff, the context window, how to do prompting, how to do automatic code reviews on your pull requests using like CodeRabbit. And at the very end, we build out a full stack web application using my workflows, deploying it out to Railway. So you can actually have one real life full stack application deployed out using my workflow. And then as time goes on, I'm throwing in bonus videos as I learn new things about AI. I will say this industry is changing so fast that you need to be on top of AI, because you can wake up one month and be completely out of the loop on how powerful a new model is that just dropped, or how efficient or how fast a model is that basically, for example, Composer 1, I use it all the time for refactoring code because it's so fast and it works pretty well. So I highly recommend go check out agenticjumpstart.com if you want to be on top of all these changes that are happening in the industry, which is exactly what Karpathy is basically talking about. He feels like he's behind as a developer, as a programmer. And I would say that a lot of people are currently way behind the bell curve. The people who are really embracing AI and who are on the tip of the tidal wave, these are the people who are going to be able to ship so much code extremely fast. And there's going to be code that's going to come out that say, well, the AI generates insecure code. Yeah, every once in a while it does. And that's why you need to understand how to review the code AI is generating, or how to hook in to all these other things so you can run them through a security review. And then refactor the code if it finds any type of security vulnerabilities. And you can hook this up into a chain where you can have one agent invoke another agent that invokes another agent to really clean up the code and make it as clean and performant as possible, right? So I guess my final thoughts, if the guy who made the LLMs is feeling behind as a programmer with how much all this stuff is changing, it's probably a good sign that you might feel that way as well. So definitely don't sleep on these things. Make sure you're always playing around with these models, test them out as they come out. You want to be on top of, these changes so that you're not kind of left behind as a developer and these other AI engineers are just running circles around you. All right, that's about it. Have a good day and happy coding.